Hi guys, welcome, good morning. We are going to be going over the midterm exam and we're going to be speed running it. I'm going to try and go into detail as much as I can without wasting any time to save you guys time because time is money. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start this so we'll make sure I'm on schedule. Okay, exam 1, cool. Exam 2, question 1. Okay, this is an output question, great. So higher order function, foo function. Okay, so foo gives us back a function that takes in a parameter. That's when we call f1, it is taking a parameter. So when we call foo, we give it 7, then it gives us back a function that uses that value that we passed it in to take a new function which will take in another parameter. So that's when we say f1, 2. So what it's saying is saying 7 minus 2, so that's 5. Cool, next. 3. So that's on F2, so then that's 10 minus 3. Awesome, that's 7. Yes, brain froze. F1. Okay, cool, so that's 7. 7 minus 4? 3. Okay, next one is F2. 5 to minus 5 is 5. Awesome, that's the answer. Let's go next one. Okay. Another output question, love it, great. We have a nils, we have a cons. Nil by default returns us false whenever we call it. Cons returns us either the head, else it will turn the function of whatever the tail is. Like if the tail is null, like if I can pass in a nil here, I'll get false if I'm not matching with the head. Perfect. Okay, empty list. Cool, so we just look here and then we'll check back to empty list 1. Well, we know it's a nil, so it's going to return us false no matter what. Then we have 1. Does it have 1? Well, cons is 1. It does match the head, so then it's true. Cool. Next one. 1, 2. Well, cons 1 already has 1. True. Next one. Console log space. Added that on line 4. Line 5. Empty list 2. Well, it's empty, so it's false. If I can type, that would be great. Skill issue log 2. Log 1, 2. Well, 1 doesn't have a 2, so it's false. 1, 2, 2. Well, 2 has a 2, so then it's true. Cool. Awesome. Next question. Function output console.log foo let f1 equals to mystery output f1 console.log f2 mystery f2. Okay, so there's an out. So we have to define mystery. So first thing we do, well, we know it's a function. Okay, so we can see here in the code, f1 is going to equal to whatever our function is outputting. Now we're calling f1, so then we know we are returning a function. Cool. Console.log. Okay, cool. So we call, so mystery takes in a parameter, which is our output. Output is a function that calls console.log foo. Okay, so we can see that when they call the returning function, it takes no parameters, so no parameters here. And it's just going to call it, and it calls it, so when I call it f1, it just calls that function twice. Weird. That's what it looks like, so it calls it twice. Okay. Then f2 is equal to mystery f1. So f1 is a function, okay, that calls it twice. So then calls mystery, so it's like a wrapper within itself. That's funny. So pretty much what it's doing is saying I'm going to call f1 2 times. So f1 2 times is foo foo, right? Because f1 once is foo foo. Then f3 is going to call mystery f2, which is going to do this 2 times. So I should get back a result of 8. Because I'm going to be calling this right here 2 times. So foo foo foo, foo 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 foo. That's foo foo code. Whoever would ever write this. But there we go. Question number 3 done. Okay, number 4. Write the output of the following JavaScript code: function cap min max wrap return function. Okay, so cap gives me back a function. No cap. F1 takes then I call it. Okay, cool. So the function takes in a parameter, has a wrapped. Our wrapped function is one of these ones that we pass in. Okay, so let's take a look. So before just kind of reading the following, let's just say easiest way to backtrack this is just start from here. Okay, so f1 is 0. So f1, this back function that takes back right here, so 0 goes into param. Temp equals to wrapped, which is 0. Our wrapped is at 10, so it's doing 0 plus 10 right here. Okay, so temp is 10. Is 10 less than 0? Nope. Is 10 greater than 10? Nope. Okay, then we return temp, which is 10. Awesome. Then we do 5. So 5 plus 10 is what? 15. Is 15 less than 0? No. Is 15 greater than 10? Yes. And then we return what? No. Yes, it is greater than. We return 10. Cool. Skill issue. Console log space. And then we go on the next line. 4. F2. Okay, let's follow what F2 is. F2 0 10. So it still does add 10. So it does 0 plus 10, which is 10. It's 10. Now we kind of already have an idea of it. Is 10 less than 0? No. Is 10 greater than 100? No. So what do? We return itself, which is 10. Awesome. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 is it less than 0? Nope. Is it greater than 100? Nope. So we return itself. Okay, F3. F3 is 0. Water sip. F3 0. Okay, so we're doing subtraction. 0 minus 10 is negative 10. Is negative 10 less than 0? Yeah. So we pass in the min. Oh. Okay. 5. Okay, 5 minus 10 is negative 15. Negative 15 less than 0? Yes. Okay, cool. F4 0. 0. Okay, right here we're doing subtract 10 again, but now this is 100. Okay, same thing. 0 minus 0 minus 10, negative 10, 0. Okay. 5 is 10. Okay, negative 5. It's still going to be 0. It's going to be less than 0. There you go. Okay, that's 4. That made my brain hurt a little bit. I don't know why. 5. Okay, consider the following. Invert. Okay. Okay, we have this code inversion function. So it says implement invert. Okay, cool. I have function invert. Invert should return a new function. Okay. Invert should return a new function that inverts the behavior of the provided function. Invert should work for any function taking one parameter and returning a boolean. Not just the calls below here. Okay, well let's see how we're using invert. So invert is just taking the function that we're being given. So we're going param, that's the passed in function, and then we return a function. So it's saying does the invert of the Boolean operation. So if I do invert of greater than 5, right, it's greater than 5, well, let's say true because it's 3 is less than 5. So what we can do is very simple to kind of break it down. Let's just get the result. Result equals to param. It gives us a backup function that takes in a value, right? Let's say not greater, I give it a value. So I go param in the value, right? So if it's 3 greater than 5, no, I'm giving back false, but I want to flip it. So then I just return the flipped version of it. Now you can make this into a one-liner and just say return not param value. That is the same as this, but when you break it apart, it's a little bit easier to kind of read and quickly break it apart when you're doing it on the exam. Nobody cares about if you do a fancy one-liner. Move on, just if you get it done quickly. Number 6. Identifying JavaScript code. Okay, print and return E. Console log value E. Ooh. If not, null. 1, print and return. Print and return. Okay. If not null, takes 2 parameters. Okay, I'm not going to read the define if not null function below. Okay, so I have to define a function. Define function, great. Okay, so it takes in 2 parameters, some arbitrary value. Okay, so taking the value. Okay, a function, 2 pairs. And then the other one is a function. I call it param. This function is called with the arbitrary value. The value is not null, and the result of the function is returned. Okay, so pretty much if the value is not null, call the function. So value triple equals to, this is called value is not null, and the result of the function is so the result of the function is returned. Okay, the value is null, the function isn't called, and null is returned instead. Well, we were returning, so it exits the function, so then we can just say return null at the very end. Right? So like right here, if not null 1, well, it's calling the function saying 1, so it's going to say value 1 because it does this right over here when it does print and return. Then if I do console log div not null 1, it will do value 1, and doing console.log and whatever I'm returning, which is the value here, so then it displays 1. Great. Great so far. Then we do if not null, print and return. Well, when I call the function, it will just give me back null, but we're not storing anywhere, so pretty much it won't do anything because it doesn't hit return param, which doesn't do console.log. Then when I do console.log, I get back null. So pretty much I can just already tell that it is working so far based on the first few lines. Don't really care about checking this because we're speed running. Next question. Okay, number 7, consider the following JavaScript code and output function: add xy, return xy. Okay, we have debug. Ooh, he went over this in class. Quick refresher: debug function takes another function. Okay, but so we need to implement a function called debug. Okay, debug. Debug function takes another function taking 2 parameters. Okay, let's see how it's being used. Returns a new function taking 2 parameters. Okay, so debug takes in a function, so it's stored in here. So return function is in debug add. Debug add is 1, 2. So return function has 2 parameters. So we take in a param, which is our function, and we're going to be returning a function that takes in 2 parameters. Call it a and b. Okay. And literally, when we call let add result equals debug add, so I still get back the result. So that function does return me the result of it. As we can see here, I do a call to the functions here to make the result equal here. So this happens when I do these 2 calls here, and then console.log and displays the value. So that's pretty chill. So it's pretty much saying you get back the result, a comma b. But we need to display everything, so I'm going to say console.log first param a b, not n, god damn it, b second param. We need to get the result in display, so my one-liner is bad. Can just display result. Okay, but then I also need to do a console.log on the result. Oh, it's called return value. Cool. That's it. Okay, next one. Consider the following JavaScript code: function print hello, function don't call, colon. Okay. Write output of this code. Ooh, okay, I just have to follow and trace. Awesome. Okay, so we do 0 calls. 0 calls does on print hello. Okay, so don't call gives me back a function takes in parameter f. So it takes in a parameter, that's where we're passing in our function print hello, but it does nothing, so we get nothing. We don't print anything, so line 1 is nothing. Okay. One call print hello. One call takes in 0 calls. Okay, so one call takes in n. So n is print hello. So I call f. So the function, I gave it back. No, the f is print hello. So I call print f. So I do f, which is hello. Then it's going to go ahead and do the NF, which is the original one that I passed in, which is 0 calls, which is nothing. Great. Then I do 2 calls. So 2 calls takes in 1 call. Got it. So then it's going to do the 1 call stuff. And then 2 calls, because it is taking in a functional call that is taking the function here on f. When it says print hello, so it's do print hello and then do what 1 call did. So instead of tracing, I just know what 1 call did. 1 call did also printed out hello. Okay, then I do 3 calls. So pretty much just following the same pattern. Takes print hello, we'll call print hello, and then it's going to take in 2 calls right here. So then it's going to call 2 calls. So it's going to print hello, and it's going to call 2 calls. So 2 calls printed hello twice. So hello, hello. So we do 0 calls, which is nothing, 1 call, then we do 2 calls, and then we do 3 calls. Cool, speed run done. Next, question number 9. Consider the following JavaScript code: function extract min R1, R2. Okay. So we're taking two arrays and we're just putting all the smallest values in array 2, and then max is just a reverse, putting all the biggest values in array 2. Okay. Extract and instruct on 10 take 2 arrays for the same length. Yeah. Write a new function and extract. Okay, so we make a function called extract, which takes in two arrays and a function that takes in two numbers and returns a boolean. Okay, two numbers and returns a boolean. We'll call that param. Okay, so pretty much the generalization is like the for loop is the same, the structure is all the same. The difference is the if statement. That is the difference that we notice here. So to make it more generalized that he's wanting to do, well, we just have one function that does everything, right? So we'll just copy everything that he's doing. Index is less than r1.length. So we copy this similar logic here. Now the if, well, we don't, if is the question on what do we do, but we know that we're copying all of this. Okay, so the thing is we're passing a parameter which is a function that gives us back true or false. So we can put the result of param in our if statement. And what we're doing is we're comparing the values of whatever we're doing. So the first part, because like just to copy the similarities, is R1, R2. So we're comparing R1 with R2. Cool. So that would be the general function. So then you take your two arrays and however you want to do your comparison. A better name for this would be compare or comparer. So whatever the comparer is, assign it to the second array. Then we have to re-implement extract min and extract max, so it's more general. So the whole idea is we have to write Lex code extract min. Extract min should work the same way. It takes in two arrays, and we just need to call extract, take in array 1, array 2, and then we give it a comparer. So a comparer would just be, so this is min, so A less than B. So like right over here, A less than B. Awesome. Then it's literally just, because extract min and extract max are just wrappers for extract to make it easier to do so you don't have to write the logic, and extract max is greater. Now the one thing I do want to mention this question when I did review it myself is his answers are weird. So if you take a look here, his answer is weird. So he does this here, which is what we did here. Oh, skill issue. I was typing too quick. Passing the element, not the array. Skill issue. Here, but his function is anonymous function does not give you back true or false. It gives you back which one is greater, right? So like if A is less than B, you're gonna give back A. I think my mic died. Okay, if A is less than B, right, you give back A. Well, right, but if B is less than A, you give back B. So this is giving back a value. It's not true or false, which you'll just have to redo what it does. Like you can just call the function and say R2 of index is equal to that. So like the way he has it, can I do this? Can I? Oh, yes. Beautiful. Okay. This is ruining my speed run, but the way he's doing it is like weird. Because you're giving back the anonymous, so you wouldn't do an if, you would just do R2 of index is equal to F of R1 of index. R2 of index. because you're getting an assignment back. You're getting an actual value back. You're not getting true or false. You're getting whichever one is greater, whichever one is less than. His question is saying returns a boolean. So I feel like he had a copy and ace case issue. This right here is a boolean expression. So this is most likely what the professor is looking for, but he has this as the answer. Don't know why, but moving on. Next question. Okay, consider the following array code. Use filter. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Built-in functions. Okay, so for 10, use filter to get an array of all even elements. Well, that's chill. Let's do this. Let's recreate. If I can type. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Get an array of all even elements. Let even equals to r dot. So we have to use dot filter. Well, that's simple. We just have to give it an anonymous function where e is divisible by 2. Awesome. Okay. Then we have 10b. Use map to get an array of strings where each string represents. Okay, so we just have to get back an array of strings. So we're going to be using map. So map will map everything to something. So we'll get it strings. Great name map. So make everything into a string. So pretty much, so you just get back an array that's all strings. So you modify all the values, and he gives us a hint. Use .toString. Done. Okay, use reduce to get the last element in array. Okay. Last element equals to array dot reduce. Okay. You won't have this, but remember, reduce takes in your anonymous function, which has an accumulator and your current element, right? And you just want to get the last one. So since reduce is just a for loop, accumulating every single time, it just keeps going through all of it until it hits the end. Well, we can just say keep returning the value of whatever is current, because it's already doing the indexing for you. So then that would be it, because it's literally just a for loop that is saying like result equals 0, let's just say, and then result is equal to whatever r of I is, right? And then you just return result. So this will then make it equal to the last one, because once it ends the loop, result will be the last element. Okay. 10D, use a combination of filter and reduce to get the sum of all elements in an array which are greater than 5. So it's saying add up all the numbers that are greater than 5. G sum greater than 5 equals to array. So first we need to get all the elements that are greater than 5. Okay. And then we got to go through them and get the sum. So we have our accumulator, our current. So then we can just say our accumulator is going to add up with our current. And then we're going to emphasize that our accumulator starts with the value 0. So we start with 0 and we add 0 plus the first element, then the first element plus the next element, and the next element, so on and so forth. Remember, reduce is for loop, right? You have let accumulator, which equals, we're defining that accumulator equals to 0 by doing this over here. For let I equals 0, I is less than r dot length I plus plus, right? And we just do this current is of I, accumulator is equal. So when we do this, it's going to be saying the accumulator, so accumulator plus cur. I mean, same thing, but to kind of make it more generalized, right? And then you just return the accumulator. Okay. Okay, question 11. Cool. Done. Delete. Next. Create an object holding a field named foo, holding the value 12. Um, Create object. Foo. $12. Cool. Um, Next one. Okay. Consider to be simple. Consider the following code. Okay, what's the output? Cool, that's what we have to follow. Object one foo. Okay, comes out object one dot foo. So object one dot foo is 1. Object one dot bar doesn't exist, so we're gonna get back undefined. Remember, JavaScript doesn't crash when you don't get anything back. Okay, object two dot foo. Well, foo in there is true. Object two dot bar 3.1415 pi, not bar. Cool. Now we go to object 3. Object 3.foo. Well, there isn't a foo, so then we go check the prototype. So the prototype points to object 2. Object 2.foo is true. Next. Okay, object 3.bar. Okay, we don't have a bar here, so we go to prototype. Bar is 3.14. Okay, object 3.baz. Okay, well, we do have a baz here, so we just say hello. Okay. So when we go here, console log object 4.foo. Foo is 3. Nice. Object 4.bar. We go to our prototype, which is object 1. Object 1 does not have a bar, so it's undefined. Remember, we don't crash. We just keep running. Object 4.baz. Go to, it's not there. Prototype object 1. Object 1 does not have a baz, so it's undefined. Cool. Shit. Last question. Let's go. Define a constructor for dog object where each dog object has a name. An example code snippet is below illustrating usage. Let equal to new dog rover. So we just have to define a constructor. Well, we just do a function because functions are objects. And we have a name. And whenever we do this, whenever we call new on a function, it knows that we're calling the constructor. There we go. So we made a new dog object with a object name that takes parameter name, you sets it to it. Cool. Okay, but then there's 13b. Okay, cool. To find a different constructor for dog, which takes a bark method directly on the dog object, the dog bark method should print woof when called example usage. Okay, so he bolded directly. So it's directly in the dog object. Now remember, every function in JavaScript is an object, and every object has a prototype, has the proto in it. So with prototype, so he's saying it's directly into it. He's not saying that, oh, put it into the prototype. So that's, like, you have to read it carefully. You can't, like, you got to read the question. So we still do the same. He's saying just update the constructor where there is a bark function directly in the object, right? I can just do that. Boom. Done. Great. Hopefully this helped. This was a speed run. Quick refresher, quick review, adding into detail of too much of stuff, kind of summarizing my thought process. Again, with question this one, probably should ask him because his answer with what he has versus what he's asking for, two completely different things. But other than that, great time. I mean, I think we finished around like 27 minutes. I'm going to pause the timer here. Any questions, just feel free to ask.